Hello everyone, I'm Mohammed Alser and I will present about COVIDHunter. Unfortunately, no model is capable of accurately simulating the epidemiological situation while accounting for the effects of environmental conditions and considering a reasonably low number of assumptions and model parameters. Existing works provide no future prediction or they provide inaccurate predictions as they don't rely on the observed number of cases or they lack environmental awareness and require a large number of assumptions and various input parameters. Our goal in this work to develop such a COVID-19 outbreak simulation model. We presented COVIDHunter in this work, and the key ideas of COVIDHunter is first, it quantifies the spread of COVID-19 in geographical region by calculating the daily reproduction number based on four main parameters. First, mitigation measures, second, environmental conditions, third, population clustering, and fourth, infected travelers. The second key idea is that COVIDHunter uses historical COVID-19 hospitalization to cases and death to cases ratios for calculating the number of hospitalizations and death. Compared to prominent policymaking models, COVIDHunter achieves more accurate estimation and provides no prediction delay. We found out in Switzerland for each single Celsius degree rise in daytime temperature, there is a 3.67% decrease in the daily number of confirmed cases. COVIDHunter is easy to use and flexible to configure due to the simple modeling approach that uses a small number of parameters. How does COVIDHunter work? It has four main steps. The first step is to predict the daily reproduction number, which describes the average number of new infections caused by each infected person. And this step takes information about the mitigation measures and environmental condition. The second step is to label each individual in the population based on different stages of COVID-19 disease, starting from being healthy all the way to get infected, being contagious, or being hospitalized and then getting immune or being dead. And this step takes information about the population and the number of infected travelers. The third step is to predict the daily number of cases, and based on this, we can perform the fourth step to predict the daily number of hospitalizations and death. In our evaluation, we use Switzerland as a use case for all the experiments. However, COVIDHunter is completely configurable for all other countries. The data, the source code, and simulation runs and data visualizations are all provided online and publicly available. As a comparison point, we consider prominent simulation models used to assist in decision making for policymakers in different countries such as UK, US, and Switzerland. In this figure, we evaluate the strength of the mitigation measures applied in Switzerland. In this highlighted area, you can see the plot that shows the strength of the mitigation measures without considering the effect of environmental conditions. And we can see during summer of 2020, these mitigation measures are only 14% more relaxed compared to the mitigation measures applied during the first wave, which is implausible as the mitigation measures applied during the first wave were extremely strict, such as closure of schools, restaurants, and borders. However, the mitigation measures applied during the summer in Switzerland were only requiring just to wear a mask on public transportation. And when we consider the effect of environmental conditions, we can see that the strength of the mitigation measures were really dropped compared to that of applied in the first wave. In these two figures, we conducted two different simulation runs on January and April 2021. In both simulation runs, we observed that ICL models provide overestimated number of COVID-19 cases compared to the existing simulation models. In these two figures, we evaluate the number of COVID-19 hospitalizations for the two simulation runs that we used previously. And we observed that in the first simulation run, ICL models now provide overestimated numbers of hospitalizations, while in the second simulation run, the ICL model corrects itself and now provide comparable results to those provided by existing models. However, the IHME model in the second simulation run now is providing overestimated number of hospitalizations. In COVIDHunter, it always provides no overestimation compared to the real or the observed number of hospitalizations. And in these two figures now we evaluate the number of COVID-19 deaths for the two simulation runs. And we can see in both simulation runs, ICL model and the IHME model both provide late predictions. We are still improving COVIDHunter, and we now provide the second version, which has support for mutated viruses and support for asymptomatic cases, as well as support for vaccination. It is still compatible with COVIDHunter 1, and the source code of both versions is still publicly available. And this is the new experiment we did using COVIDHunter 2. And we can see that before we having the Delta variant around July 2021, the number of cases were decreasing. However, after July, the numbers start to increase dramatically, and COVIDHunter forecasts that further tightening of mitigation measures is really needed before October 2021 to avoid overwhelming healthcare system in Switzerland. The source code and the documentation of COVIDHunter is still available on GitHub, and we provide data visualization. You can access through this link. For more details on our COVIDHunter work, I invite you to check our COVIDHunter preprint on medRxiv. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be happy to take questions through the poster session.